Good morning and happy Wednesday, all. My name is Sharif. If you're not familiar with me, I'm kind of feeling this. Sorry, my camera is not super clear, but I'm kind of feeling the way it looks right now. Plus the lighting. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it. And shout out to everybody who's on their way to work or coming home from work. I'm about to go in just a little bit. But this title of the video is going to be They Don't Want Us to Have Kids. And let me just break this down. This is really, I probably should have picked a different time to make this, but this is fresh. It's not the first time that I've thought about it, and I want to do it now. So I think that one of the reasons why inflation is the way it is, if you look back, and I get it, this is just the way of the world, but as you guys have seen, there's been a huge rise in pricing, but it's to the point now where it's ridiculous. If you look back 50 years, of course things didn't cost what they cost, but the amount of percentage that has doubled, the way inflation has compounded over the last 50 years has been ridiculous. I would say maybe even the last 25 years. I remember when bridge toll was $2. Now it's $9. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that old. So $2 compared to $9, what percentage of that? What percentage is that in the compound of maybe 20 years? Yeah, y'all, I think that one of the reasons, and some of y'all might call me conspiracy theory, hey, to each his own, but one of the reasons I think that inflation is the way it is, pricing is the way it is, and just the systems of the world, I think they are like this on purpose to keep us from having children and to keep us from procreating. Now, this is really bold for me to say on YouTube's platform because I made a video about this. I do think that YouTube has certain agendas that they want to push and certain agendas that they don't want to push. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly think that. And whoever this reaches, I thank God for you, and I hope it resonates where it needs to. But I really think that that is part of what's going on here. I know for me, just personally, I'll use myself as an example. That's one of the reasons why I'm not in such a rush to have children the way I was. And I get it. And shout out to you, ACOG, if you see this. Actually, I emailed him in regards to this topic, and he gave me his thoughts. And I've talked to several people who are just like, hey, you know what? Just let the Lord do his thing. If it's meant for you to have children, then they'll come. If not, then they won't. And I totally get that. But there's a but in there, of course. So my thing is like this. I understand that, and I even agree. At the same time, does anybody who wants to be a good parent want to put themselves and that child or children in a position to where they are not 100%? I'm kind of treading lightly because nothing is 100% guaranteed, especially when it comes to money. I'm just saying, doesn't common sense and concern, if you want to be a good parent, doesn't that count for something if you want to make sure your kid comes into the best possible financial situation? I'm not even talking about being rich. I'm not talking about being wealthy. I'm just meaning you and your spouse aren't struggling. You and your spouse are not penny pinching. You and your spouse are not working tireless hours because both of y'all are trying to get out of debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you gonna bring a child into the situation, wouldn't wisdom say, hey, if you can help it, why not just wait a little bit until you and your spouse are more financially stable? Because, and that's not to say, listen, don't hear what I'm not saying. That's not to say I don't think that God will take care of you. That's not to say I don't think everything will be all right in the end. But I got to backtrack a little bit, y'all. I grew up, maybe because I saw ACOG's video about poor versus broke. If I didn't grow up poor, I definitely grew up broke. I actually witnessed that transition. I saw my mom and my stepdad, I saw them get married, have a lot of money. At one point, they had 3 streams of income coming in. And it was like within a year, all of that went away. When my stepdad got sick, it was a wrap. He never went back to work after that. And we had moved into this house, this big new house, and we only had my mom's money to cover it. And a whole bunch of other stuff happened that forced 2 of those incomes to go down. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a reason why I have the hustle in me that I have, and why I'm not afraid to work hard. Once I found out how having a good work ethic, aside from it just being important and making you look good, when I found out I could make my own money, that was a wrap. Then I found out, okay, hey, I'm not making enough. Maybe I just get a second job. And I got to tell you, it made a significant difference. Now, in hindsight, the downfall to that was, I had no life. So I'm not saying that that's the way either. But my point is, I'm just like this. I think that all of this is a setup, because left to me, I'd have been married years ago. I'd have had kids years ago. Now, granted, I didn't meet my husband until when I did, and that's the way that played out. And that's a whole nother video, because if I want to be straight with y'all, like, I could have had kids by now. But kind of similar to the money situation, I wanted to be married when I had children. I didn't want to just shack up with some dude or lay up with some dude who said he wanted me to have his baby. And, there I am. I'm just out there. I'm another statistic. It's like, no, I wanted to bring my future children into the best possible situation. So that was with being married, having a mom and a dad, stable together. But now let's veer into the stability. And I think a lot of wannabe parents are like this. They want to make sure that they can actually take care of their children when they come here. But again, to bring it back full circle, I think that the systems of this world, the elites of this world, the people who are pro population control and all this stuff, I think there's a reason why they are making things or allowing things to be so inflated to the point to where they are. And I think there's a reason why. There's so many things, y'all. There's so many things. And I'm gonna cut it now because, I gotta get to work. But it's just some food for thought, y'all. Some food for thought. And again, like, me and my husband are still having that. Actually, I ain't even gonna talk about that. But yeah, this is just something to think about. This isn't me saying for you to do this or do that. This is just me sharing my point of view and why I think people who do want to have children, why they might be a little hesitant, or they might not be so, okay, I'm married now, let's have these babies. Man, like, Y'all, money just plays it plays so many parts into so many ways in this thing called life. It really does. But again, some food for thought. Food for thought. I really believe that that is part of the system that is at play here. So, subscribe, like, and comment. Comment honestly. Comment respectfully, please. I'm about to go into work. But if you are like me and know that there is another way to make money and actually live life and walk out the purpose that God has for you, feel free to shoot me an email. I got to put my email in the description box too. Or in the main description. But I love y'all. Again, subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll see you in the next one.